You're listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
In this episode, we are discussing the pilot of the show Vikings. It's a TV series from the History Channel. We're talking about the episode called Rites of Passage. This is a series that I have watched all of that's out so far. Rosanna has not watched this and really doesn't know any spoilers about it at all.
Nope.
In this episode, we get to meet Ragnar and his family and the Earl and find out that Ragnar wants to go west. So I chose the series because it's just so fascinating to watch. I'm interested in the Viking culture and also the really weird things that some of them do. I wonder, how much is historically accurate. And the characters are just so much fun, especially Ragnar. He's just so much fun to watch on screen and to see all his ambitions. Rosanna, why did you agree to watch this with me?
So, I actually watched the first episode of this show a long time ago, and it was mildly interesting that I was watching it with my husband, and it's hard to find shows that he likes, and he was kind of bored, and so we just sort of let it go. But then you started talking about how much you loved it and how you've seen all the seasons of it. And I really just assumed based on your recommendation that it's going to get a lot better. And I love finding new shows. I'm super excited about watching all of it.
Great. So, Rosanna, what was your initial reaction to this first episode?
Violence.
So much violence.
Was what I got out of especially the first scene. A lot of violence, a lot of blood. But, watching a show like Game of Thrones or whatever, I've seen that. I just pretend in my mind, I know this isn't real and it's not real blood. But, I really liked the family dynamic that we got. I think when you think of Vikings, a lot of times you think of these really manly men that, they go off and they do their pillaging and raping probably and all this kind of stuff. And you don't really think about the people that they've left behind that they come home to. So I really liked Ragnar as a father figure. Is it Lagertha?
Yeah.
I love her.
Okay.
Even just in this first episode, she is a favorite. I love her so much. I love that she's portrayed as such a strong character. She can protect herself and her daughter. She doesn't need her husband to be home. I think that's just a really nice message. I'm okay with the son so far, Bjorn. He's kind of an odd duck, but I think he'll probably end up growing up to be a lot like his dad.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Rollo.
Yeah.
He seems a little sneaky.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I think it was just a nice introduction to the characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rosanna, did you have a favorite quote from this episode?
So, Nikki, my favorite quote was by Lagertha. You're too great a warrior, but not so great a man. And she's talking to Rollo. And I'm like, yep, that's what I'm seeing, too.
The way she said it, too, was just so... I see right
great.
Through you.
Yeah, she's just a really cool person.
Yeah.
So,
I really like her. Nice, okay. Let's jump right into the action. So, as you said, it starts out with a huge amount of violence. It's 793 AD, they're in the Eastern Baltic, which is apparently Latvia, which I had to look on the map to find out where that was.
All right.
And actually, I only knew it was Latvia because I watch a lot of TV shows with closed captioning on. And at one point, it said, Latvian warrior, grunt. for the guy, it was great.
Sure.
Yeah, it helps me understand what's going on for a lot of stuff, but sometimes you catch really fun stuff like that. And you're like, hey, context I had no idea about. So yeah, so it's Ragnar in the battlefield. Everyone is dead. Except him and Rollo.
Right.
Did they kill everybody? There's nobody else.
There's really not a lot of information given in that first scene. I mean, I think the assumption is, yes, they killed at least a lot of them, if not all of them. But do they not have any of their own people?
Yeah.
Or is it just
are they the
too?
only survivors? What the heck
is
why? Happening?
Why were they fighting?
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions there.
Yeah. So obviously they're good fighters. I mean, at one point, Rollo throws an axe to Ragnar and he catches it in midair, which is amazing.
Yeah, and throwing the spear and getting the guy as he's running away. Which, okay, I thought that was a really good scene, but I could not help but be reminded of the scene in Elf where Buddy and his younger brother are having a snowball fight, and one of them is about to get away, and Buddy throws the snowball as the kid's running away and gets him right in the back.
Oh my god.
So it's definitely just like that scene.
So
I'm sorry, I tried not to think of that, but it just...
I'm going to admit that when I thought we would cover this show, I never considered Vikings and its comparison to children's movies. It just
that is a family movie, Nikki. The greatest family Christmas movie that's ever been made.
And it does have someone from Game of Thrones. So, there you go.
It does?
It's got Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage!
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does.
Okay.
I think of him as a different person in everything he's in.
Yeah.
He's so good at being different.
My big question for the battlefield scene was, why are they not wearing armor? What, like, they're wearing like t-shirt kind of stuff. Aren't they gonna... But apparently it didn't matter because they only have other people's blood on them and they look not injured at all.
That's true.
Yeah.
And who are they fighting that they're so much better?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, that they're not really good warriors. They are, but you'd think in a time like that, a lot of people would be good warriors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I wonder too, are people that are warriors like that, were Vikings multi-talented with different weapons, like an axe, a spear, and a sword?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing talent in all those things. Also, he's a farmer.
Right.
That's a lot of talent in one man.
That's true.
Yeah. But I'll accept it. Willing suspension of disbelief, because he's super hot.
Super hot. Except for the hair.
Oh, the hair. Yeah.
His haircut looks like a bowl cut with a braid hanging out the back. Why would they do that?
It's interesting. I don't know anything about if it actually... Does anyone know about how Vikings styled their hair?
Well, I wondered when they were making the show how they decided to do those hairstyles, because the son also has hair in the front and the back of his head is completely buzzed.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's a couple questions.
That's a lot of upkeep.
One, why? Why would you not have hair in the back? And two, what kind of devices did they have back then that could cut hair like that?
You could use a knife if you're shaving it, I guess.
But it's all the same length, and he... I mean, I guess maybe if that's his grow out, if they shave it and then they let it grow out. But the boy had it was buzzed in the back. There was hair that wasn't very long, and then the hair in the front was long.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some very strange
Maybe they
hairstyles.
shave the back in the summer, and then they let it grow through the winter.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's ugly, no matter what. No matter the reason. It's not cute.
Man, okay, so so we see, so this part's kind of unfortunate. We see Odin and the Valkyries, which seem like kind of cheap CGI and a little cheesy looking.
Wait, who's Odin?
Odin, he sees the guy walking and he says Odin.
Oh, he does?
Because he sees all the ravens. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. Yeah. I've just been calling him Raven Gandalf.
That's way better than Odin.
Because, he's got the hat and the walking stick and the beard.
He does look wizardly with that hat.
I didn't get the Odin thing at all. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. Okay, so Odin is a god, right?
Yeah, he's the god with the two ravens, Hugin and Munin? Hugin and Moonin. Anyhow, he has two ravens, and he has a patch on his eye because he gave up an eye for knowledge.
I got that part later, but I didn't realize that's who we were seeing.
Yeah, and so one raven sees all for him, and one raven hears all for him. Yeah, so it's thought and memory.
Okay.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something similar. I should really read up a little more on this, but
so he saw him in the beginning, and then he sees him again towards the end.
Yeah.
when he goes outside. And when he comes back in, he says that he saw him and that means that his path is the right one.
Yeah, he said he had there was a sign.
Yeah, why is seeing Odin a sign that what he's doing is right?
I think it's because Odin represents knowledge, and Ragnar wants the knowledge of what lies beyond the.
But maybe he's showing
what
up
is in the
to
west.
say, no, don't do that.
I think he might just not show up.
I think Ragnar sees what he wants to see, just like when he was talking to the seer, he heard what he wanted to hear.
I think that's a really fair point.
Yeah. I think he's pretty strong-minded and has decided that this is what he's going to do, and he'll make things around him line up to that.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at him about it. I really like him. I just think that that's where he's going. And maybe that could get him into some trouble later.
Yeah. Oh, Hugin and Moonin. Those are the names of the ravens. Okay.
He picked some weird names for his ravens, but all right.
Yeah. So we've got Odin and the Valkyries. Did you know those are Valkyries?
No.
The women coming down from the clouds.
No.
Yeah, they're the choosers of the slain. They decide, first of all, who dies. And second, they get to take some of the people back to Valhalla.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think Valkyries are really awesome. So
yeah, that's very cool.
But the CGI, I'll tell you, the CGI is better in future episodes. I think because it was the pilot. Yeah. Because it was the pilot, they probably had a smaller budget for that. Also, they usually don't have... It's not as, like, here's this mystical thing.
Okay.
To see.
I wondered about that, too.
Yeah, I think a lot changes between the pilot and the second episode. Because, there's a lot of time in between, too.
Is there?
Just, like, makeup that they have chosen... Things like that.
Oh.
When it was actually filmed, the time between the filming of the pilot and the second one.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see some people look a little different in the second one, even though it's right after. So, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, some of the people just, you notice some of the makeup some of the makeup is very different on some of the people.
Oh, I'm eager to see that then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of the hair is different, but I'm sure it's all weird also. If that happens.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But it's not as cheesy as the pilot can be. Like, it doesn't have those, like, let's zoom in on his face when he has an idea kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because that happened twice, and I was like, oh, God, no.
Oh,
yeah.
You noticed more than I did.
Well, I've seen it before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, so we finished that. They're back home in, I guess, Norway, Scandinavia. And Lagertha and the daughter, is it Gita? I think her name was something like that. Gita, and they're fishing. Lagertha is awesome at fishing. And then Bjorn and Ragnar are fighting, which is kind of adorable, because Bjorn keeps getting angry, and Ragnar obviously is going to win every time. Also, that shield Bjorn is holding looks so heavy. Like, he's this little kid, and he has this big old wooden shield. Like, that's...
Oh, I didn't notice that either, but I bet it is.
They must get really strong if they always have to fight with shields.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, they're made of wood. Even if you find a light wood, like, that's a lot of wood to carry around.
Yeah, it is.
On one arm. Yeah. Also, I really liked the Ragnar and Lagertha in bed, because they're obviously totally in love.
Yes.
They're very happy.
Yeah, that's so sweet, because it's not like they're newlyweds. It's nice. And that's another thing that gave me a really nice feeling about their family, is that they're apparently very close, all of them. I like that.
In their small, dark house.
Very dark.
Though it actually seems like kind of a big house once you're inside. I feel like it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
So these Vikings live in a TARDIS.
Basically. Yeah.
Cool.
So Ragnar and Bjorn walk to Kattegat. And Ragnar wants to go west. Oh, it had that part where he was talking... They were at the fire. And he was talking about how he won Lagertha by killing a bear and strangling a hound.
Right.
And then...
Which is pretty much the story she told their son to.
Yeah,
according to him.
Yeah,
pretty close.
That's how my husband...
Probably not at
my
all.
hand, but yeah. Totally the same. That's a really high bar for marriage.
Yeah.
Also, all the poor bears. Yeah. All right, so Oh, and this is when it cuts back to Lagertha, and they're weaving. She and her daughter are weaving, and the guys come in, like super creepy, gross-looking dudes.
Oh, yeah. Gross.
And Lagertha is badass. And, oh, the thing with the hook, that was so hard to watch. The hook in his neck.
That was gross.
Yeah. Were you surprised when she suddenly started fighting these guys?
I actually was, yeah. Because at that point, you don't really know that she can take care of herself. And when she does, I was just so excited. And of course, her husband would not leave her if he didn't know that she could take care of herself. Otherwise, she probably would have had to go with him. So it makes sense after the fact, but it was awesome to see her defend herself.
Yeah. And those guys, just, oh,
they were
so
gross.
Yeah. Okay, so they walk to Kattegat. Oh, so this was weird. I thought this was a really odd word choice. Everyone keeps calling this ceremony for Bjorn the thing.
The thing. Yeah.
I was like, is there not a better word they could use for this? Yeah. Why are they called... And everybody, at least 3 different people called it the thing.
Yeah, I noted that too.
Mm-hmm. What was that? That was just really weird writing.
Why not the ceremony or the feast or the gathering or... No, it's just the thing. I feel like
they could have made up an actual name for it and we would have totally bought it.
That's true too.
Yeah. It seems like something where they had the thing as a working title in the script but never remembered to change it.
Yeah, they could have just used the Scandinavian word for thing.
I would have.
And we would have been like,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so exotic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I was also loving the headbands that all the guys wore.
Yeah.
They had all these great, like, blue leather headbands that looked really... It was a strange choice because all 3 of them, Bjorn, Ragnar, and Rollo, all had them. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if anyone else did, but it was such a specific thing. It always made me feel like it was a family style they were wearing.
Oh, yeah, that could be. And you know what else is weird, though, that reminded me? So Ragnar and Bjorn have this really weird haircut, but Rollo's hair's long.
Yeah.
It's all long. So I don't know what it is, but there's something different about them. Maybe it's where they live. Do they not live very close? I mean, he got to their house in a boat, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he lives in Kattegat because that's where they met him.
Maybe the style there is long hair.
For me, it makes him seem like he's vain. Because he has this lovely, long, luxurious mane of hair. It just makes him seem like that, like the way he looks is important to him.
Yeah, maybe it's more vanity than utility, but with Ragnar, it's utility.
Yeah.
Which, just based on this first episode, I could see that being the case.
Yeah. Do you expect Rollo to get a weird haircut at some point?
I kind of hope not, because even though I don't really like him, he's pretty cute.
Yeah.
And the hair works. I'm not usually a big fan of long hair on men, but it works on him.
Yeah, I looked up his picture on IMDb. He actually has short hair. He wears a wig for the show.
Oh, no, that's a wig. Why would you tell me that? Aww.
But
oh, well.
he looks really good with short hair, too. I mean, he's a very attractive man anyhow.
Yeah. He's one of those.
He looks good in any kind of wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, good to know.
Yeah. So Rollo and Ragnar talk about going west. And Ragnar brings out this compass and shows him the sunstone. And Rollo does not even believe this is going to work. And then he kind of starts getting convinced. But he starts to talk about how he found the Wanderer, and it makes me feel like Rollo is equating the stuff that the Wanderer gave or sold, I don't know, to Ragnar is like magic beans. Like, this is another thing that you've fallen for. It's another con. And
yeah, that sounds right.
But it makes me... It was the first time that I kind of started to doubt Ragnar a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe he really is just getting conned, and if they can go west, everyone's gonna die, because he just bought some weird piece of wood from some guy. But who knows? Who knows? All right, so they go to...
I think you do, so...
I know nothing. All right. Earl Haraldson holds court in his hut place, and very much like a king, I guess, proclaims all the people guilty, not guilty, and all that. Like the guy who has stolen things, and the little sidekick guy says that a fine has to be paid by anyone who fails to throw something at this guy.
I love that he just had to run through a bunch of people and they threw stuff at him.
Yeah, that's
the best punishment ever. I thought it was so funny. Yeah. You know, the way that they did this part with the Earl reminded me a lot of the whole Scottish laird of the lands.
Oh,
Everybody goes to the
like
laird.
Outlander?
Yeah. It seems like it's very similar to that.
Yeah. I guess not like Outlander, like the actual Scottish lairds. I don't have to reference the show for history.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the actual people.
Yeah,
but we do have good examples of that in Outlander.
Yes, that's really how I learn about history, is from fictional TV shows.
About time travel. See?
Yep.
It always comes back around to time travel with me.
Oh, I hate time travel. I hate it. Hate it. So, listeners, if you're confused about that, you should listen to our Lies of Luck Lamora podcast, where we talk about how much I hate time travel and how much Rosanna loves it.
I love time travel.
Oh, I hate it. It's so bad. I can't keep up. Too many paradoxes. Everyone's gonna kill their grandfather and die, and I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Always to that trope, Nikki. Always to the kill their grandfather.
Something always happens, and then their arms start to disappear in the present time, and it's just
seriously, we're doing the Back to the Future thing. They disappear in their picture.
I can't watch time travel. I liked the time traveler's wife, but I hated the time travel part. Because I couldn't keep up, and I was like, do they know that already? Wait, he knows because he was there, and she doesn't know because she's still growing, but then she knows in the future and has to tell his future self to tell his past self. It's just a mess. I can't. I need a diagram for those things. It's so bad. Okay.
All right.
So Vikings has no time travel. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm just going to give you that spoiler right now. Zero time travel. Yeah, so bad.
All right.
Okay. So, the murderer, do you think he is actually guilty, or that he is just kind of in trouble anyhow?
I don't know that there's any way, based on the very short trial they gave him, to know if he's actually guilty or not. Mm-hmm. I think it was in the Earl's best interest for him to die.
Yeah. And there was something about the land.
When he called for the vote, I think everybody was like, we're going to do what the Earl says, because he makes sure that we have what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that the law was an interesting choice, where you can't pass more than 2 houses without basically confessing that you killed someone in self-defense.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's kind of an arbitrary number.
Well, and I understand, because families live close together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sort of makes sense, but why 2 houses?
Yeah.
Maybe they live farther, maybe they live closer. Maybe the entire family lives in one house and the next house over would have been all right.
Yeah, the 2 houses, but not 3. 3's too many.
Right, it's a weird rule.
Also, that you're just supposed to, are you supposed to, okay, imagine this. I kill some guy because he's attacking me. So I totally kill him, self-defense. And I have to go find a house, knock on the door, and say, oh, hey, by the way, I killed some dude 2 houses back. Just letting you know. Just in case you're wondering for my future trial.
As the law of our land dictates, I am informing you that I have committed a murder of self-defense. It does seem very strange.
Yeah, it's weird. Also, Bjorn gets to be on his first jury. So exciting. Yes. And just has to vote for guilty. Because he has no choice. He's the last person that has to vote, which is, yeah. And the guy's so cavalier about being beheaded.
I know.
He's like, sure, behead me, whatever. That's the choice. Okay, I'm gonna die.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So then they have I'm gonna call it a fealty ceremony and not the thing. Because that seems like what it actually is.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So Bjorn and this other kid become men. It's kind of like a bar mitzvah, I guess. They get their bracelet, and they get a kiss from the Earl's wife.
They call them rings.
Oh, sorry. The arm ring.
Mm-hmm.
armband, armoring? What they call it?
They call it a ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it looks fancy.
It does.
They get a kiss from the wife, who we see in this episode like 3 times, and she does stuff, but she does not say a word ever.
Also, I had my closed captioning on too, and she doesn't have a name.
Oh.
It said either chieftain or Earl's wife.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Oh, one thing that was bothering me, and I have no knowledge really about swords, but the Earl kept using his sword like a cane almost, and that just seems like it's really bad for the point.
Oh, I didn't notice that, but yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, he just kept like using to kind of lift himself up or like knock something down or whatever, but it...
Did you see the tip of the sword?
No.
So maybe it wasn't a point? Maybe it was
Maybe it's just a ceremonial sword you usually use to fight.
Yeah, I bet he doesn't do much fighting anyway.
That's probably very true.
Yeah.
Seems disrespectful, though, to your blacksmith to use a sword as a cane.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah. All right, so they're talking about raiding in the east. Ragnar gets to stand up and ask about it, and everyone wants to know where they're going. And then Ragnar starts talking about going west, and I really liked that Ragnar was talking to the Earl, but he kept kind of turning towards everyone like he was presenting to them his big idea of going west.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Which, also, from later conversations, sounds like this is not the first time that he's brought that up.
Yeah. And then he gets called to the principal's office, where he gets in trouble. But he keeps smiling. He has that smile that he gets.
He must be very confident that the Earl wants to keep him around.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he gets a tail. That guy has to start spying on him.
Right.
Yeah, which we don't see again for a while, to the very end of the episode. Night falls. The Earl has a nightmare about his sons being killed, which is kind of a non sequitur. It's just, I don't really know why he has that nightmare or where it's coming from, or there didn't seem to be anything in the episode that related to his sons being killed.
Right.
But maybe we find out later. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess probably, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so the wife's there. Oh, Ragnar and Bjorn go to the seer. I like that the seer asks which one of them want to know their future. Mm-hmm. Like, only one of them is allowed to know, and 2, they both have some possible important future.
Yeah, why couldn't they both hear their future?
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, that guy is so gross.
He's pretty creepy looking.
Ugh.
Because he doesn't have either eye, and they're all scabbed or like sewn over, kind of.
Yeah, it's really.
And then
gross.
All the black lipstick that's like an inch past his lips on his face. It's all over the place. He's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read something that said, because apparently there's not a ton of knowledge about Viking religion because of the Dark Ages, and they just don't have the record.
Nobody wrote it down. Yeah.
Yeah, or carved it into a stone somewhere. And so they had to kind of make up a lot of that stuff.
Oh.
So like the hand lick.
Ugh.
They just did that because they wanted something unique.
Good job.
Yeah, that was pretty gross, though.
That was
I feel
really
bad
gross.
for the actors, both giving and receiving, for that, too.
Ugh.
It was not pleasant to watch.
I hope they, like, put a fruit roll-up on his hand and let him lick that instead. I'm just gonna believe that was what happened. Yeah.
That sounds much more pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strawberry.
Oh my god, that's the price of finding out you have a great destiny. It's licking someone's fruit roll-up hand.
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah. Oh, so Ragnar apparently does have a great destiny. Well, we think. We're not really sure because he wants to interpret it his own way.
I think Ragnar thinks he has a great destiny.
So, what did you think of the seer in general? Do you think that he is just making up things, or does he actually know something?
I have a tendency to believe seers in TV shows.
Okay.
I feel like they wouldn't be put in the show unless it was to give some sort of information that there's not a good way to give otherwise.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay,
So,
like instead of just exposition.
Yeah, it's sort of just a way to, like, that's a good way for Ragnar to show that he really believes in himself and in this path.
Okay.
So, I have a tendency to believe them, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we see just some of the landscape and like a waterfall. It's so pretty. I really like it. They filmed in Ireland.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course they did.
It's very pretty there. I don't know if it looks like Scandinavia there, but I figure they must have some CGI for some of it to make it look colder. I mean, not in this one because it's not winter, but at some point.
Oh, okay.
We meet Floki. Tell me what you think of Floki.
I think Floki does drugs. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he maybe eats plants or something because he's pretty kooky.
Like mushrooms?
Sure,
Is
yeah.
that what you mean by plants?
Well, I was thinking something like from a tree since he loves trees, but
That's true. He does love trees.
we could go with mushrooms too.
He's a tree seer.
But I also think that he knows what he's doing.
Okay.
Based on nothing, I feel like the ship that he builds is a good ship. I think he's good at that. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So, they mentioned that it's Floki like Loki, the god of mischief, which I like.
Me too.
Because mischief is fun. And also because I really like Tom Hiddleston as Loki in the Avengers.
Best villain. So good.
Yeah, Loki's fun.
He really is.
Oh, did Floki look familiar to you at all in any way? No?
No, I don't think so.
So, he is in a family of actors. His father is an actor who was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. I think he might be the gross pirate that you remember with the gross stringy hair, the older pirate. I think that's his dad. I can't remember his name. But his brothers are Alexander Skarsgård and Bill Skarsgård.
Really?
Yeah, so the Troubadour actor and then the guy from, well, he was a model, but also in Hemlock Grove. Yeah, they're all brothers.
Yeah, I don't think he really looks that much like them. They have a real distinct look.
They do, but they're all incredibly tall.
I wonder if I would be able to see it more if he didn't have this, because doesn't he have stuff on his face?
Yeah, he has the makeup stuff around his eyes and his ears.
Yeah, but like, I guess with the other two, maybe it's their nose. There's something about them that's very distinctive.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Might be the eyes.
Good for
him. But they're all super tall. Yeah. I don't know if you notice it in this, but at some points in just throughout the series, you happen to notice suddenly he's like plenty over 6 feet tall.
Oh, huh.
He's just this massive guy, but he kind of, I think he hunches over a lot.
He was hunching, yeah.
Yeah, but he's very, very tall.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so back at home on the farm, Bjorn's sitting outside and very casual about the fact that his parents are having sex inside.
That was a very casual comment.
Yeah, it's very evolved.
I guess.
For people in the Dark Ages. I don't know. Maybe I guess we're less evolved about that whole thing today.
I guess.
But if you all live in one big room, I guess
true.
There's really no way to avoid that.
That's true.
Yeah. Ooh, and we find out from Rollo that Lagertha is a famous shield maiden.
Not surprised. She's amazing.
Yeah. We don't know why she's famous, what exactly she did to get famous, but now she's a farmer's wife, so awesome.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, Ragnar is an exceptional farmer. Not in the way that he is really good at farming, but he is exceptional as a person.
Yeah.
He seems, yes.
Yeah, he does.
Rollo and Ragnar are planning the trip, and it seems like Rollo defers to Ragnar a lot, but I don't know who the older brother is.
I don't know either, because if I had to guess, I'd say Rollo.
Yeah, same here.
Because he looks older to me, or I don't know, maybe he just seems older. And they don't really look that much alike.
That's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had, like, different mothers or different fathers.
Okay.
To me, they don't look like full-blood brothers. I mean, obviously they're actors, so...
Well, yeah.
They're not actually related.
Yeah, but Bjorn looks a lot like Ragnar.
Well, and Ragnar's very blonde, and Rollo's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, that to me says different mothers.
Yeah.
Not because mothers control the hair color, but in a historical fiction such as this, having different mothers is more likely than different fathers.
That seems true enough, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm going to go with that until I'm proven otherwise.
Okay. Either way, they're both incredibly handsome in their own way.
Yes, they are.
Oh, so Travis Fimmel plays Ragnar. He was a model before he was an actor. He's from Australia. Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
But apparently he was like the highest paid male model at some point.
Seriously?
I don't know if it was in America or where, but yeah,
Wait, did you say he's Australian?
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of explains the accent.
Oh, we should talk about the accents.
Because he was not totally on the whole time.
I don't think anybody was. I feel like people were all over the place with that accent.
I think Bjorn was not bad, and I think maybe he just talks like that. I mean, because I thought his accent was pretty consistent, so I think maybe that's his accent anyway. But yeah, Ragnar's was kind of in and out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lagertha just sounded... It was such a weird cadence.
Yeah.
To the way that she spoke. And I don't know how much training they got, but I'm sure they all got training on the same thing. But from what I've read, it's an approximation of what they think Old Norse sounded like.
Oh, okay.
I think it's based on that, and they use some of what I guess Norwegian sounds like.
So it was open to interpretation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that they all had the same coaching.
Sure.
To try to have the same accent. But yeah, the accents from different people are so different. Some of them sound English.
Yes.
Some sound...
Mostly English, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. But like a mix of the weird cadence and just some words are weird.
Yeah, especially the Earl. His was super English, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I feel like he didn't even try. Gabriel Byrne is his name, yeah.
Also, every time I saw him, I was like, D'Artagnan! because he played D'Artagnan in one of the Three Musketeers movies.
Oh my god.
So.
Oh, he was in The Usual Suspects. That's what I remember him
of course
from.
He was.
Much younger then.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, I already know the
twist.
The twist, so I mean, I guess I could still probably watch it, but
I think it's still worth it.
Is it?
Because the relationship between all the guys there is really fun.
Oh.
It has Benicio del Toro, and nobody can understand him, as no one can ever in anything that he's in. But Kevin Spacey is just amazing, and it's really fun to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm a big Kevin Spacey fan anyway, so maybe I will check it out.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, the movie that's like 20 years old at this point, you should probably watch.
What? It's 20 years old?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure it was out when.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably close. It's old.
Kevin
old. Kevin Spacey's super young in that movie.
What you're saying
I know it makes me feel old too.
I'm old.
We're all old.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Oh my god, I feel like I'm getting old so fast. The other day I was looking at this box. I had bought some solar-powered colored lights to go on the tree outside. Mm-hmm. And we were going to put them up, and I looked at the box and I thought, crap, I bought these for outside. I wonder if they're actually rated for outside use. Solar-powered lights. I wondered if I could use them outside.
That's a good question.
It took me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good question, Nikki.
It took me way too long to realize that I'm an idiot. And no, I'm going to get sun inside my house to power these lights. What the...
Sure.
Yeah, that was... so we're all old. That's the moral of the story. So Vikings.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Rollo hits on Lagertha. And it's so slimy. He's so slimy about it, too. He's like up in her ear and just... Ugh.
Yeah, he really is.
So uncomfortable.
And it also, the way he talks to her makes me think that they had a thing.
Oh.
I feel like he's sort of alluding to, I keep thinking about you and I saw you because he remembers being with her.
Okay.
Not I don't know necessarily that it was like a relationship. I don't think that Ragnar is the kind of person that would marry his brother's girlfriend or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like maybe they had a fling, or there was like a one-off time before she and Ragnar got together.
A drunken mistake in college. Yeah.
Yes, when they went to Viking college. Yeah. But he just sort of seemed like, and maybe it's just because it's his sister-in-law, but he seemed too familiar.
Yeah.
I guess the way he was talking. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes out.
Well, he did it in such a gross way where he had to mention some other woman he had been with first, like she should be jealous.
Yeah, and that to me is like a sign of him trying to pump himself up.
Yeah.
Like he's needing extra confidence or something.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I didn't like to watch her deal with that because obviously it seemed like she was trying to avoid any sort of violent outburst thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to fight her brother-in-law. That was terrible. Mm-hmm. Also, he's a pretty big guy, even though she's very talented.
Right.
But obviously also a warrior.
He is a great warrior.
Yes.
But not so great a man.
Yes. So much that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was upsetting. And then Ragnar comes in, and it seems like maybe he kind of has an inkling of what's going on. Mm. But I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he knows this has happened, or that Rollo... Because they're pretty open. Lagertha and Ragnar seem like they tell each other stuff. Do you think that she's told him about this before? Because I'm sure it's happened before.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that his... I guess maybe ego is what I'm thinking, but not really. Mm-hmm. But that could stand his brother doing that to his wife. I mean, I feel like he would say something to Rollo, and if Rollo didn't stop, he would stop, contact with him. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that would be something important to him.
Okay.
So I wonder, and I think that Lagertha was trying to get it quiet and done and over with because she doesn't want there to be a rift between them. Mm-hmm. It's bad for her husband because he apparently needs and wants this relationship. And then also, this guy is her kid's uncle, and he seems to be a pretty big part of their life.
Yeah.
So I think she's trying to just keep it in check herself.
Yeah. I feel like, on the other hand, it seems like the way that Ragnar is and the way that he relates to her, from what we've seen, he probably thinks she can take care of herself, and even if he did know, he might not think it was a big enough deal because she can handle it.
Yeah, I guess so, but it just seems really disrespectful.
Yeah.
To treat your brother's wife that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe he doesn't realize it's as graphic as it is. And so he's not stepping in.
Yeah, he was pretty blatant with the...
Right, he was.
Yeah.
But maybe if Lagertha has told him about it, she's downplayed it quite a bit.
Maybe, yeah.
And so he thinks that it's not a big deal and she can take care of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way, it's upsetting.
I'd like to see where it goes, though.
Okay.
I'd like him to stop because it's really tacky.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Boy.
Yeah.
Well, what does he think? That she's going to be like, Rollo, I totally want to sleep with you. Let's do it right here? What? With my kids in the other room, my husband outside?
I've been waiting so long for you to proposition me. This is so romantic.
I'm sure my husband won't notice if I sneak out at night. Yeah.
He's gross.
Yeah, it's terrible. There's no opportunity, even if that was something that they both wanted to happen. Okay, so Ragnar sees Odin again, declares it as a sign they're doing the right thing. And then they're in the boat, which I think Floki's completely adorable. That he doesn't think it's going to work, and they're going to sink, everything's terrible, and then it sails.
And then when it does, he's like, I told you so!
Yeah. Why didn't you believe me? I'm like, you didn't believe yourself, Loki. It was great. I liked that. And then we see... That was
cute.
Yeah. And then we see the spy on the hill.
Yeah.
Which...
That's
we know... Good. Yeah. Well, and we know that Ragnar was worried about being betrayed to the Earl. Mm-hmm. So... That makes me wonder what's going to happen.
Yep.
All right, Rosanna, what are your top 3 for this episode? What's your category?
So my category is production notes. Since this is the first episode, I really was paying a lot of attention to the show as much as the story.
Yeah.
So I really liked the opening sequence where it's underwater and there are a lot of things sort of floating through the water, like things that are going to represent the parts of the story.
And I love that song.
Yeah, and I love the hints of the characters in the water.
Yeah.
And my favorite part was seeing the Viking ship from underneath.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was
with all the oars.
Yeah, it was just really cool imagery. I just really liked the opening. I loved the music during the opening, and I really liked the music throughout the whole episode. I thought it was really pretty, and that it really added to the story without being super distracting. Sometimes when you watch a show, the music like kind of takes over the story, and I didn't feel like it did that. It was just a nice follow along with it. I really liked it. I didn't
even notice the music. I think there was one point where I noticed the music.
Oh, really?
It was kind of a dun-dun-dun. Yeah, and I didn't even notice it the rest of the time.
I thought it was really nice. I thought it went really well with my number 3 point.
What was it?
The scenery.
Oh, gorgeous.
So beautiful. I mean, just looking out in the water, looking over, when they're walking with all of the greenery and the waterfalls, and it was just beautiful. I mean, it makes you want to go to a place that looks like it hasn't been touched by, modern civilization. It was just gorgeous. And I thought the music went really well with it. So, yeah, those are my top 3, the opening, the music, and the scenery. And I'm sure that later on I'll talk about other parts of the story, but I thought for the first episode, those are things that really, really stood out to me that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Though I always wonder with stuff like this, how many roads they had to CGI out when they did big landscape views of things.
Don't ruin it for
me! Maybe none, but it seems like maybe a couple.
No, they traveled back in time.
No! Not more time travel!
No, maybe they did, but if they did, it was a good job because it was really, really pretty.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have any predictions, Rosanna? What are they?
So, I predict that Ragnar's going to be getting in some trouble with Earl Haraldson.
Seems like a pretty solid prediction.
Yeah, I think the spy's going to go back, and Ragnar's probably going to get summoned, and he's going to get a butt chewing. Yeah, I think so. And I also...
Do you think it might be more than a butt chewing at this point? Because he's gotten that already.
Yeah, he's already been warned.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand this character of the Earl and why he's going to be mad. But then on the other hand, Ragnar spent his own money to build this ship.
Yeah.
If he wants to go west, let him. I mean, I could see him being... I could see the Earl being mad because he told him not to. But I just am like, no, dude.
But that could encourage other people to do their own thing.
Oh, I suppose that's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he doesn't cut off his arm or something, but I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to do that.
How did you know? I never told you Ragnar only has one arm the rest of the series.
I hope he doesn't take it out on his son or something and make him go live with them or something.
Oh, like the hostages, the kids in A Song of Ice and Fire kind of thing?
Yeah, Reek. What was his name before?
Oh, yeah, Theon Greyjoy.
Yes, yeah. That's what he was. So,
yeah.
I hope they don't do that.
That
will really, really hurt Ragnar. And of course, he seems like the kind that will really blame himself and have a hard time getting over that. So I hope it doesn't directly affect his family. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did, is
okay.
What's sad. And then also, I'm suspicious of Rollo, not just because of the Lagertha thing. I think that shows what kind of a person he is, but I also really question his loyalty to Ragnar.
Okay.
With regard to the Earl. Well, I'm worried that he's obviously skeptical of this plan. And he has said to Ragnar, I don't want you to be my leader. I want us to be equals. I don't want to be below you. And so if Ragnar pushes that, which he didn't really address, Rollo might say, you know what, this isn't what I want, and I can get what I want by turning him in or by turning against him. And I just really hope that he's not going to do that. I hope that the brother relationship wins out.
Okay.
But he's kind of slimy.
Yeah. Now it's time for Cheek of the Week. This is where we talk about something that we really like. Could be some random thing, could be a product, anything, just something we think is awesome. So, my Cheek of the Week is kind of weird. It's this thing I came across the other day, but I thought it was so awesome, I wanted to talk about it. So, in Wellington, New Zealand, there's a thing called Look-See, a company, and they are picking 100 tech people from around the world. You, apply for it, because they're so short on people in IT and things like that in New Zealand, and they're flying them in for all these interviews. Yeah, for free. For, a week. Yeah, and paying for their travel, paying for their lodging and food and all that, just so they could try to get some people to move there and start taking these jobs that they need.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it sounded really cool. And I'm like, do I want to move to New Zealand? Because I'm in IT. I could live in New Zealand. It's so pretty there.
That would be amazing.
I know.
And then I would have an excuse to fly to New Zealand.
Yeah, it's only a 16-hour flight or something like that. Psh. That's nothing.
Whatever.
Yeah, but it just sounded so cool. But I'll put the link on our website so people can look at it.
That's
and
amazing.
Apply so you can get flown to New Zealand. Heck, even if you don't move there, it's a free trip to really expensive flight.
Even if you have 2 interviews, you got 2 free trips to New Zealand.
Yeah, and you, I guess what they do is you put in your resume and you answer a questionnaire, and then everyone that does this, they're getting together a bunch of companies, and they go in and rate people as to who they want to actually interview. And so the top 100 people, they get the most likes kind of thing.
Sure.
From different companies are the people that get flown out. So, it's an application process, and it goes through all the vetting and stuff, but still, that's really awesome.
That is really awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is my Cheek of the Week. Rosanna, what is your Cheek of the Week?
Well, Nikki, my Cheek of the Week is starting a podcast with you.
Aw, that's
I'm
so sweet.
excited about reading the Lives of Lothbrok and watching Vikings with you, because I know that you really love them, and so I think that your enthusiasm is going to be contagious.
I hope so.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about them and just really, kind of pull things apart and get into them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Awesome.
So, listeners, you can find our Cheeks of the Week, and you can send us a message at our website, somethingcheekypodcast.com.
Yes, that is our episode. You can follow us on Twitter at somecheek, visit our website, and please leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can also check out our other podcast, which I mentioned. It's on the novel, The Lives of Lothbrok.
Yep, thanks for listening. We will see you next week with episode 2.
Hello, Cheekies. This is Rosanna. Nikki and I wanted to give a shout out to Alexander Rose from the Spoken Word team on Slack. Alex, thank you so much for being our podcast beta tester. We appreciate your feedback, suggestions, and advice. They've made a big difference.